Hello students. Now let's move on to our next unit, that is self-management. In that session, first is stress management and its techniques. So let's start reading this chapter. This chapter will introduce you to the stress management, the causes of stress, the reasons behind feeling stressed and depressed, and how you can come out of these situations. Okay, so let's start. Life is a chain of events marked by pain, anxiety, unmet expectations, failure, fear, or anticipation of loss. This is uh, in every person experiences this kind of situation in his or her life, and addition to this all, we have endless greed for materialistic pleasures like achieving our goals, or pressure from society, or pressure from peers, or bitter past experiences. All these things create some chaotic atmosphere in our lives. So all these things lead to emotional disturbance, and this emotional disturbance is called as stress. Stress can be viewed as a disease which affects people of all age groups, right from adolescent to elderly people. Children might not be experiencing stress because they are in different state of mind, and they do not have much things to worry about. So, stress can be defined as a reaction to any external stimuli that triggers change in one's personality. Stress causing agents are known as stressors, which can be self induced or could be external also. So, here are some factors that can contribute to stress. The first is threat, dangerous situation, irrational demands, societal or peer pressure, unrealistic goal, expectations, bad experiences, financial losses, or discrimination. Every person goes through stressful phase at one or the other time in their life, but it doesn't mean that we should remain there only. We can come out of it for sure. And for that, we must learn how we can manage our stress uh, and lead a happy life. One needs to identify the stressors that directly have an adverse effect on physical, emotional, behavioral, or mental health of human being. So, stress does not always have negative impact on us. It can sometimes be useful also. We can accomplish a good deal of achievement with some positive stress, some challenge, or some kind of what you can say competition. It is not always that you get a negative kind of stress only. Okay, so this kind of stress which causes some positive changes in our life is called as eustress. Eustress provides us energy and motivation to achieve goals. Okay, so one example is given over here. You can read this example. Levels of stress vary according to the individual way of perceiving it. Each person responds to the situations in different ways. Uh, some people get stressed very easily, and some people, uh, you may look at them and they will be cool in some stressful situations also. So it is individual's response to the stress, which can vary from one person to the other. Now uh, let's look at the meaning of stress management. What do you mean by stress management exactly? Stress management refers to a wide range of technique that enables a person to cope up with psychological stress effectively. It covers all tools and mechanisms that alleviate the chronic stress which could otherwise prove to be a lethal disease. It includes a pool of techniques that assist individuals eradicating anxiety and negative thoughts and work on their own well being. Importance of stress management, why it is required. Now you can see all around us, we are facing so many stress. There are so many stressful situation all around us with this corona pandemic and all. So in such situations, we certainly need to learn more stress management technique and uh, perform well in any kind of situation, or keep our positive aspect toward the life alive. So why it is important? Stress management allows person to react positively. It provides ways to measure the different levels of stress. It helps to identify the distinct stressors, which could be either good or bad. So there are two types of stressors: positive stressors, dangerous stressors, and irrelevant stressors. Sorry, three types: positive stressors, dangerous, and irrelevant stressors. Now, positive stressors are the factor that can bring some positive change in your life. Dangerous stressors, they might lead to you to negativity, more negativity, and can prove fatal to your health also. And irrelevant stressors. Irrelevant stressors are kind of stressors which are not uh, actually related to you as a person, but some social impacts or some happenings around the world can also cause some stress inside a person. These are called as irrelevant stressors. After successfully recognizing the stressors, stress management provide practical measures. It infuses a sense of control and accomplishment, so that person feels like, yes, I have achieved something. It equips you with ability to handle any situation efficiently. Okay, stress management help to bridge the gap between available resources and the unrealistic demands surrounding them. Stress management also enhances the physiology of person. It can boost the immune system and can increase the level of health also. Now let's look at stress management techniques. What are different stress management techniques? Let me turn the page. The very first stress management uh, technique is physical exercise. Physical exercise. When you do physical exercise, endomorphin chemical is released in your body, and which can eradicate your insomnia. In some frustrating situation, when a person starts feeling stressed, more rigorous form of exercise like weight training may provide a way to vent the negative feelings. Exercise make a person sturdy and helps him to tackle stressful situations. It improves the state of body, as body is always able to manage the stress in a better manner. So it can help building up confidence and self-esteem. The second technique to eradicate stress is yoga. It is considered to be the finest legacy of Indian culture, and everyone is talking about yoga, right from Shilpa Shetty to our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. They all are talking about yoga, and they are asking people to perform yoga daily. So, what are the benefits of doing yoga? Reduction of cortisol, that is stress hormone. It is known as stress hormone. The levels of cortisol are reduced in your blood. Then it provides you sound sleep, a sense of happiness, removal of different elements of body. As you do different physical postures, you can get rid of the pain or stress which you can otherwise feel in your body at some different portions like shoulder, neck, or even in legs, then enables to focus in the present. Like yoga helps you to look into the moment, into the present moment, emotional controllers over the oneself. Then meditation is also part of yoga only, and it also reduces stress, anxiety, depression. It is a natural and inexpensive way that provide immunity to stress. Okay, for doing meditation, you should choose a silent place wherein you can sit calmly and perform the uh, exercise related to your breathing. Help It helps individual to focus in present once again, building up traits such as tolerance, creativity, and imagination, helping to change the perspective during difficult situation. It provides a stronger sense of motivation and it reduces the negative feeling. It also develops a sense of self awareness, that who am I, what work is assigned to me, and how best I can perform and this work, and how best I can lead my life happily. That's what can be benefited from uh, performing meditation. Now, next technique is vacations with family. Uh, this is also a good way. It adds variety. As we know, human being is a social animal, and he is most of the time happy when he is surrounded by the people in a family or close friends, or the people whom he or she likes the most. So this kind of activity like vacations or some get-togethers with family members can certainly remove the stress. It adds variety to the life, creates some memorable moments for the family or the people who are participating in that, helps to develop various hobby, then develops a sense of creativity, self inspiration, and socializing, fosters feeling of unity, integrity, and cooperation, and it is a relaxing and rejuvenating experience for all the participants in that gathering. Next technique is taking nature walk. We must regularly take some time out of our busy schedule to appreciate nature's beauty. See, when you go in a garden which is full of flowers, and uh, what you can say, a scent of flowers is in the air, and you are taking just a walk on that path, then you certainly feel enlightened and happy, and your mood changes. So the fluttering of leaves, the sound of water, or soft breeze, the blossoms in the garden uh, create some calming effect in our minds. Now these are the benefits of taking nature walks. It calms a troubled mind. It improves positivity and mental well-being. It helps build sense of creativity, motivation, and strength. It induces a basic quality of living in harmony, peace, and cooperation. So these are all the techniques with which we can reduce our stress. I will suggest you to practice each one of these technique at least once a day, so that you can feel relieved from your stress, stress of your studies, or stress of the competition in the education sector, and you will get motivated towards doing better and better in your life. Okay, let's continue in this video itself with our next chapter related to self improvement, and that is ability to work independently. Now, Here, what do you mean by ability to work independently? The capacity to work on your own uh, without any pushing or without anybody going after you go to do that particular thing. So as a passion of achieving something of your on your own can pave your path to success and can boost your confidence. So let's see, what do we mean by independent person first? What do you mean by an independent person? An independent person is aware of his feeling and character, observes and evaluates his behavior, and corrects his mistake. He knows what he needs to do. An independent person takes the initiative rather than being told what to do. Okay, he takes ownership of his mistakes and without looking for excuses does not require constant assistance or supervision. Okay, so these are the ideal characteristic of independent person. Not each one of us have all these characteristics, but yes, we can try to develop this characteristic in our own personality. Again, it will be for our own good only. Now, let's see what are the advantages. First of all, it boosts your self confidence that you can work on your own without anybody's assistance or push. Then makes a person self reliant. Once you know that I can do things on my own, your dependence on other resources and other people completely vanishes. And whenever you are given some task, you try to finish it on your own. Then makes the person emotionally independent. You are not dependent on anybody for other people involvement, and thus you can improve your relationship with your friend and family members. Makes decision um, makes decision making an easy task. when you are experienced when you are experienced working independently, the the first thing what you can do is you can take your decisions on your own without asking or without consulting anybody or without saying that हाँ तुम बोल रहे हो ना तो मैं कर रहा हूँ देखना लेकिन आगे क्या होता है मुझको नहीं पता. These kind of excuses you stop making. Brings out the best in a person. uh, uh, Having a free and independent mind gives a freedom to explore one's own skill and talent, increases self values and self esteem. Once again, after you know that you can achieve so many things on your own, then it is certainly going to boost your confidence, and your value in your own eyes get increased. You feel that yes, I am worth something, and I can do so many things on my own. Then makes the person accountable. Again, when you take any decision, the responsibility of the outcomes is totally yours. So when you take a wrong decision, you might not expect the correct output. So thus you can take the ownership of your decisions, and thus you are accountable to whatever is happening with you. Now these are some skills which you must abide to work independently. First is self motivation. You must be self motivated. Then you must organize yourself. Then you must have multitasking ability. You should be able to handle multiple tasks at the given time. Then you must follow discipline. You must follow the schedule or values which you have opted for. Then you must have a good communication skill and resourcefulness. Whenever you are working independently, you must try to resolve the problems related to resources. If some of your assistant is not there, then you should be able to manage without that person or that resource and get the work done. Okay, so this is one small activity given. You can read through this activity and try to do your own. Now, how to become self-reliant? Uh, self-reliant means you are relying on yourself only for completing the work given to you for your studies. At this moment, we can say there are keys for becoming self-reliant. That is self-awareness, self-motivation, and self-regulation. Now, let's see these one by one. Self-awareness is something like uh, awareness about our own capabilities, like what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what are the things in which I believe, how are my emotions, and what are my motivations. Now there are two types of self motivation, self awareness, external self awareness and internal self awareness. External self awareness is how other people look at you, and internal self awareness is how you see yourself, how you see your values, passion, aspiration, thought, feelings, behavior, etc. And this is more what you can say is required. Internal self awareness is more required than external self awareness, as this can give you clear picture of who you are and what your tasks or goals are. Now, Dr. Urich and her team identified four leadership archetypes, each with a different set of opportunities to improve, like high internal self awareness and low internal self awareness. These are the two columns which we will be looking at. So, in with low internal self awareness and low external self awareness, you become a seeker. Like these people do not know who they are, what they stand for, or how other perceive them. They feel frustrated. Okay, people with low self external awareness and high internal awareness, they are clear about who they are. They do not challenge their views, often harming their relationship, uh, which limit their success. Now, both internal as well as external self awareness at high level makes you aware. uh, these people know who they are, what they want, and seek out other people's opinion. These are nothing but great leaders. Now, people with high external awareness and low internal awareness, they become pleasers. They are too focused on what others think about them and fail to focus on what exactly matters to them. They keep on pleasing the authorities, and they become happy in that only. Uh, but they cannot achieve more as compared to the aware people. Now, the second factor, which second key, which we saw was self motivation. The first is self awareness, like you try to find out who you are and get the awareness about your abilities and weaknesses. Now, self motivation, it drives persons to attempt and accomplish tasks. Like these four elements that keep a person motivated are personal drive to achieve, commitment to organizational goals, and initiative to act on opportunities, optimism, which is ability to continue and pursue goals in face of failures also. Now let's see types of self motivation: intrinsic self motivation and extrinsic self motivation. These are two types of motivation. Intrinsic self motivation refers to the behavior of person that is driven by his innate desire to do something for his own sake and personal reward, whereas extrinsic motivation refers to the behavior of person that is driven by the desire to attain some sort of external reward, like which includes money, power, and good traits. uh, Example of intrinsic motivation could be participating in sport event, clearing or cleaning your room, uh, exercising because you want to relieve stress or you want to get fit. Now, extrinsic motivation could be participation in a sports to win a reward, cleaning your room to prepare for visitors when they are coming over. लाइक अभी कोई गेस्ट आ रहे हैं तो ही मैं अपनी रूम साफ करूँगा. Exercising for weight loss. So different type of motivations are there, and you should try to see which one best fit for you. Okay, how you can increase your self motivation? Setting up high but realistic goals, taking an appropriate level of risk, looking for constant feedback in order to improve, being committed to personal or organizational goal, utilizing opportunities, and continue to pursue goals despite of setbacks. Like these are the what you can say, key points that can keep you self motivated. Now we have seen self awareness, then we saw self motivation. Now third is self regulation. This is the most important thing, that you should able to regulate your behavior. Self regulation is ability to understand and manage your reaction to the things happening around you. Developing this ability requires self awareness, emotional intelligence, efficient filtering of sensory simulations, and coping effectively with stress. Like uh, self regulation will involve that you should be able to control reactions to emotions like frustration and excitement. You should also regulate your responses, calming down after something exciting or upsetting happens. Then you must focus on the task, refocus attention on new tasks, and get along with everyone else. Like regulate your responses to the events those are taking place around you. Like if there is a very good movie going on and you have got one major task to complete, you are just at the finishing stage. But if you see that the movie is really good and you like that movie and you went to watch that movie and uh, keep your task on hold, then that is an example of not being regulating person. Like you are responding to the event in a way it is uh, expected by other person or by your family members or something like. And and doing so you are giving low priority to your tasks. So at such points your self regulation skill comes into picture, that you finish your task in half an hour and then go and watch the movie. That could be a good solution. Then why self regulation is important? It helps people to behave in socially acceptable ways. It endows them with ability to control impulses. It help people in making friends. It help people being more independent. It help uh, to manage their stress. uh, you can cope up with strong feelings, and it can enable you to calm down with uh, the angry moments or the upsetting situations. Okay, so we can say here that fundamental uh, of being independent are the ability to work on your own with minimal direction, confidence, self awareness, self motivation, and self regulation. It teaches you how to respond to difficulties and challenges that you might face in everyday life. It also instills a uh, sense of being in control of your own learning and success. Okay, so here one activity is given. Try to read this activity and try to write the pros and cons of working independently and teamwork also. Here it is given, you can see. Okay, so now we are completing with the second unit from self management, that is how you can work independently.